What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a panic transfer show because the CEO of Bologna spoke and now everybody's panicking on the Calafiori deal. Di Marzio chipped in and everybody thinks it's not happening. It's impossible to happen. That's what we're going to talk about. A big update on Sancho, which was a player we mentioned, in January as well, but also last week or so, and everybody was like, oh, now there's confirmation. A new midfielder we potentially could be signing, and a weird, almost impossible update on McKennie, but we're going to discuss that as well. But before we do that, as always, hit the like button. Let's push you 100 on this video. Should be easy. Subscribe to the channel, and let's jump straight into the show. Okay, so the Calafiori panic station news and also Koopmeiners that goes into it. So it all started when Bologna CEO spoke, and he said that we already told Calafiori's agent that we have no intention of selling the player, and everybody panicked. Oh, it's not happening. We wasted time, and I'm like, it's mid-June. How do you mean wasted time? Everybody needs to calm down right now because he's not going to say, yes, we're open to sell. Like, nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that because I don't think Calafiori really pushed for it. He might have just told, we know he told, I want to join Juve, figure it out, basically. But he didn't really push for it right now. This is all part of the game. I remember when we were in for Locatelli, I think everybody remembered that summer, where we were talking about Locatelli 60 days out of the 60 days in the transfer window, basically, where it was Cannavale saying, hey, he's not for sale. He's not for sale. Many teams came in, but we want to keep him. And they sold him. Where the news was out there, Sassuolo won 60 million and we signed him for 32 plus 4 or 5 bonuses, basically. We still did that because the player was like, I want to leave and you sell me to Juve. Figure it out. It's all part of the games. People need to relax. I don't think it's going to be an easy deal. I never thought it was going to be an easy deal, because again, Bologna are a well-run club now. They're in the Champions League. They can sit back and they're like, pay up, basically. So it's not going to be an easy deal. It's not going to be a deal that you get done overnight. That I was very aware of, and I said it before the Euros. Probably nothing going to happen, So I was very aware of that because even for Bologna, their own sake, it wouldn't make sense for them to sell before the Euros. They were always going to take this Euros to build on. So I think everybody needs to relax. Di Marzio came out and he said basically the same thing. He said the club's priority is still Calafiori and Koopmeiners. They might have thought it would have gotten like the deal to bring in Calafiori would have been more easier, but it was always going to be a difficult deal. It was always going to take time. It was never going to be a deal that you again get done overnight and you're like, okay, keep it moving right now. That was never going to be the case, and we all knew that. But the fact that the CEO spoke and he said, oh, he's not for sale, doesn't mean he's not for sale. If players like, I want to leave, they're going to sell Calafiori. The problem right now is they're playing the game as they should be playing, but also Basel at 50% on the sale. So if they sell him for 30, they only get 15. And they will be sitting there being like, man, he's worth more to us than 15. The problem is that clause. That's not Calafiori's problem, nor it's Juve's problem. But like, we're not going to pay 45 because Bologna is like, okay, we think he's worth 30 cash for us, but we need to pay 50. The clubs are not going to look like that at it. They're like, that's your issue. You need to figure that out. So it's not going to be an easy deal. Probably with players, it's going to drag on. Definitely, like Koopmeiners, it will drag on to a certain point where it's like, okay, now it's too late, or we are just going for other targets. I still think we will get Calafiori, but it's not going to be easy. Same goes for Koopmeiners. It won't be easy. But that's the update. I would say just calm down. Now, the other part of news is Sancho, which we already talked about the last couple of days. And now it's Fabiano Della Valle from Retro Sports speaking, saying that talks with Man U are underway for Greenwood and Sancho. Giuntoli is asking for a loan, with part of the wages being paid for Sancho. In January, he was extremely close. It was basically done, but Allegri didn't want to change the formation, so it didn't happen. Remember in January, we were talking about they want to pay part of the wages, and it did not happen. Now, I don't think Man U are going to pay part of the wages. I don't think Man U are going to loan him out. I don't think that's their mindset. I think they want to sell and they want to get rid by now. They want to, close that chapter. However, Dortmund already said we want to keep him, but not at those conditions. And I think Man U are with their back against the walls right now because everybody knows they want to move him on. But teams know, okay, if you want to move him on, these are the conditions. If not, you guys figure it out. At one point, you just need to come back to us and say, here we go. Please take Sancho out of our hands. I think Sancho is a very good player. What I don't think is helping him is loans, not being in the squad. Like, he needs consistency. He really needs consistency. And I still believe in his talent. I still think he's a very good player. He has all the tools, but I think consistency, belief by a coach is missing in him because he didn't play for Man U at all. Goes to Dortmund, plays well because the coach believes in him. Yes, it's not easy. Mid-season going back to Dortmund, not to Dortmund. He left. Different Dortmund side coach, like players. So it's not an easy transition as well. After not playing much football for a year or so. So it's not going to be a smooth transition, but I see why Giuntoli is looking at him. If it's paid wages by Man U, and like I said, we're selling all our wingers. We're not signing wingers. That's an issue, and I don't think we're going to keep Chiesa. The news is now that Chiesa wants to wait after the Euro. It's not like this is done. This is only going to end up one way. So you need to be linked to wingers. You need to sign wingers. And if Man U is like, yeah, we will loan out Sancho or whatever, I think the club will jump on that opportunity. And I think with consistency, I think he will be a decent signing as well. I would still prefer to keep Chiesa and Sule, but I think that's already, unrealistic. I think that ship sailed, for financial reasons and also maybe Thiago Motta's decisions. A new name in midfield, and I'm not going to lie, it's Fofana from Monaco. I've not watched him play. I'm going to be completely honest. I watched Monaco games. I think it's more than a year ago than I watched the last Monaco game. Probably more. It is more than a year ago than I watched the last Monaco game. I don't remember Fofana. I'm being completely honest. But we're being linked with him because he has 1 year left on his contract, I think it is. Milan have been in talks. A lot of Premier League clubs have been in talks. And now Juve have been in talks. He could leave around 15 plus bonuses. And apparently that's the player the club is looking at because of the price tag. And also, apparently, he can interchange with Douglas Luiz. That's what the reports are suggesting. It's also not certain that Rabiot was going to stay right now, so you need to replace him as well. That's basically all up in the air. It feels like the club is also willing to put some pressure on Rabiot, saying, hey, we have him in the pipeline. We're signing Douglas Luiz as well. Like, are you going to say yes or no? Otherwise, we're going to push on for Koopmeiners completely. So Fofana is, if anyone really watched Monaco, let me know what a player he is. I can't recall. I'm not going to lie. I looked him up when the news showed up. I looked up a scouting report saying that he has a lot of very good points, but also a lot of worrying points with losing possession, positioning. So I cannot confirm nor deny that because I've not watched him. But if anyone knows, let me know. But 50 million is a price, and that's deals that Giuntoli probably will be looking at to kind of build up that midfield. Obviously with your key players and then with some... not fringe players, but like some squad players as well, or potential squad / starting 11 players. So let's see how that will go, but it is an idea for now, according to Pedula. And to wrap this one up, it's the weird McKennie story. That everything is basically done. It's only McKennie, quote unquote, holding up the deal because he's negotiating his payout with Juve. Now, the only payout it could be is that somebody said, like, it's a loyalty bonus. He's stayed out his contract, until the final season, and there's some sort of agreement. If so, people like Prati should be locked up in jail forever. Other than that, the news make no sense because we're selling you, buddy. Are you gonna go to Villa? Yes or no? No. Okay, bring us an offer of 30 million. If not, you're just gonna sit out the entire season. It is what it is. Obviously, we are not in a position financially to do that, but that's what it is. I'm not sure what payout it is. The only thing that's out there is, like somebody said, a loyalty bonus, but we're not going to pay you to sell you. Are you going to go to Villa? Yes or no? If not, bring us an offer for 30 million euros. If not, well, you have a big issue. That's how it should be going. So I'm not so sure about that news. It doesn't it feels wrong. It feels very strange because what payout are we talking about? You're on the contract and we're selling you. Do you want to go to Villa? Yes or no? So let's see how that will go. But that's basically what's holding up the deal a little bit now. McKennie's final approval of details, basically. But let's hope that's coming soon, I guess, for all sides involved, to speed up the transfers a little bit. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Obviously about Fofana, Sancho, because that was a big update, and also the Calafiori one. Do you think it's gonna happen? Yes or no, and why? That's it for me. I will see you guys back tomorrow. Ciao.